Hey,
I don't know if you're gonna be by yourself today. Nobody's called me. I haven't heard about Marielle either.
she told me she's gonna be online. Her son is 3,
Okay.
so she has the Zoom link. I didn't get the Zoom link.
You wouldn't get a Zoom link.
No.
No, because you're supposed to be here
In
in
person?
person. The only people that will get a Zoom link is if they're exempt to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me,
So everyone else should have gotten their Zoom link.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, the links are on the website, but, unless you see, your signing sheet.
Yeah.
There's markings on it who will tell you. In your committee, there's only 3 people. Her, she's one of them, and Tanisha and Indiana. They get links. No one else will get a link.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Marielle,
It should be on.
yeah.
Or joining.
Like a personal life form, let me see. I'm not. You know what you need to do, Jay? If you're there on that computer
What's up?
and you're a co-host there, if you see any attendees or people that you know, you could bring them home.
Okay.
If you was there now. Hello. Alright. Let me see what's going on over there in the other room, okay?
Okay.
You're all set, you're live already, you're
All
like
right.
on YouTube and everything, all you gotta do is unmute yourself. And I
Okay.
think you're unmuted.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some snack there on the window if you want it.
I will take one.
Hello.
Hello.
¿Habla español?
Hi, Marshall.
No.
Hablo poquito español. Cuando se va a la escuela, yo aprendo español, pero no estudio bien. Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you, and I don't know. Oh, wait, I think the.
Let's see. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
John, I'm gonna promote you now. Night, night. We're just waiting for a couple more folks. Marielle should be joining online. Tanisha said she will be joining.
Okay, you got some folks there, all right.
Yeah.
How's the sound? Everything good?
Oh, I can't. Marshall, can you try speaking or Radia?
Testing, testing.
Happy New
Hey,
Year.
Marshall.
Happy New Year.
They can,
They can hear you.
yeah.
If you can't hear somebody from the outside,
No,
that's
I can't.
that's on them, because they can hear you. We're the ones broadcasting. It's hard to troubleshoot somebody's thing when you can't see it, but all the people that are currently on the screen, they're on mute.
Can you hear us? I can hear you.
Marshall, speak again.
Can you hear me now?
I think it was what you did.
Put it on the volume a little bit, okay,
I thought
alright,
it was the volume here. I was moving.
alright.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure. I'm gonna go on mute for a minute.
Jay, do we have quorum?
Um,
I don't know if there's anyone else in person with you.
no, just me.
Okay. Okay.
According to the sign, she let me see what we've been for, you counting?
Yeah.
So Marielle,
But
Tanisha and Indiana, they count as quorum.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So you have 7, all you need is 5 to have quorum,
Okay.
because it's half plus 1.
Correct.
Mhm.
So we might not, because we only have 8 on the committee total.
7. There's 7 members on your committee.
7? Okay, I thought it was 8. Okay.
I emailed all this information on Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
to everyone. You might
Yeah.
want to look at the new roster, because I sent it to the whole board.
I think she's counting Marshall.
Okay.
That's probably what it is. I think, yeah, I am counting Marshall. Okay.
All right, so you guys are good. Okay.
Thank you, Paola.
You're welcome.
So, Jay, sorry, I'm just like having dinner at the same time.
It's
Um,
okay.
happy for you to start.
Okay. We don't have quorum because
Yeah.
Radia and John would have to be in person.
In
I
person's
think.
account.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we're not voting on anything this evening. I mean,
Yeah,
unless
so it should
someone's
be
putting
fine.
forward like a resolution or something, which I don't think that's the case, then it should be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I was going to. I mean, all right. 7:06. We can get started. And Tanisha said she would join at some point.
Mhm.
All right. At this moment, I'm just gonna call the meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. Welcome everyone. Welcome John. Thank you Radia and Marshall for being here. Welcome Hilda, which I think is from the public, and Marielle's online. I'm trying to manage all of this together at the same time. Yeah, that's all we have. Like Mario was saying, we don't have much on the agenda. It's a new year. I think everyone was enjoying their holidays. So for this moment, I'm just gonna go. It's gonna be a quick agenda. For monthly updates from elected representatives. I don't see anybody on unless Hilda is someone representing a member. Hilda, are you? Asking to see if Hilda is hearing me. I wasn't sure if Hilda was from a representative office. The outside of that, no monthly, unless someone has a monthly update for their own community organization. Monthly updates from community-based organizations. Again, Hilda, I'm not sure if you're from an organization or an elected rep. Outside of that, this is gonna be a very short meeting. We'll move on to old business. if anyone has anything they want to bring up. I think the last time we were here, we had discussed some goals, and outside of that, there was a discussion on, I know some folks had mentioned they wanted to invite some community organizations. I think Tanisha said one. There was one old business I wanted to bring up, Marielle, because we voted on this the last time we were here. And it was, I think we were gonna do a resolution for the organization that presented and asked, there was a couple asks in that presentation. One was forget what, one of them was to sign on to support, and there was an ask for us to do a resolution in support of what they had come to present on. I gotta pull up my notes. So I'm gonna pass it on to you, Marshall, because I can't multitask. So you
Yes,
can- Oh, sorry, that was my bad. I muted you. There you go.
okay. For the sake of the record, shouldn't we be introducing ourselves?
Yes. So we can do that.
Okay, well, I'll start off then. My name is Marshall Vanderpool. I'm a public member of the Housing and Human Services Committee. And to keep it brief, I'll land right here, and whoever can take it, run with it.
John Francis, first year in the committee.
Good evening,
Yeah.
everyone. My name is Radia Barnes. I am this is my second year being on the community board as well as this committee. I am a lifelong Washington Heights resident, and I also serve on the Business Development Committee.
And I'm Jay Bias. I'm Assistant Vice Chair by Paola. I'm born and raised in Washington Heights my entire life. This is my second term, so going on my third year for the board this year. And I'll pass it on to Maria to introduce herself.
Hi, Jay. Thanks. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Mariel Ali, and member of Community Board 12 and Chair of the Housing and Human Services Committee. Thanks so much.
Thank you for that reminder, Marshall. So I'm still trying to put up my notes, just trying to log into the Wi-Fi here. But I don't know if you missed what I was saying, Marielle, about what we discussed last month. There was I thought we had voted for us to do like a resolution in support of the organization that came in presented, and they had a couple of asks. I just want to bring that up because I wasn't sure if anyone had volunteered to do that. And if anybody else was working on it.
Yeah, no, thank you. You're right. We did agree as a committee to do that. And I recall the conversation also circled around I remember Jordan's name, but I can't remember the name of the organization's escaping me right now. Community Access. And so if I recall correctly, the conversation also circled around having Jordan and kind of the Community Access team also present to Health and Environment as well as Public Safety. I don't know. I did connect to Jordan with Steve for health and environment. Their meeting is now, so I'm not sure that I don't know if she's presenting there or not. I'll be honest. And I'll need to check with Eliezer. But I think we agreed that it would kind of be one resolution amongst all three committees. And so yeah, would certainly welcome, a volunteer who'd maybe want to start a draft. And then we can coordinate with the other two committees. But I am due to follow up with both Steve and Eliezer on that. So thanks for that reminder.
Okay. All right, well, if they do present this month, I'm happy to work on that resolution. Just, I know I cannot do next month because of my work duties. They start getting hectic at that point. So I just wanted to bring that one. So thank you for the reminder. I forgot that they were supposed to present to the other committees. Is there anyone else who wants to bring up old business? If not, I will move on to new business, see if there's anything. Go ahead, Maria.
Thank you. So new business. I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of new business, but we also talked about it last month. There are I think it's 4 or 5 different lotteries currently open on Housing Connect for CB12. That's huge. Considering that, one of the big things when Housing Connect first rolled out, one of the big I guess feedback was that, hey, we're seeing these, opportunities and developments come up in these other communities, but not really in Inwood and Washington Heights. Obviously now we have a plethora of these developments, some affordable, some not so affordable. But I think it's important that we continue to kind of push the word out that there are some opportunities on Housing Connect. I did see some of the electeds hold kind of drop-in sessions teaching community members how to access and use Housing Connect as a service. And I thought that was really neat to see. So again, just wanted to kind of put that out there. And I did see it also go out in the community board newsletter, those different opportunities. I have a couple of other bits and pieces of new business, but I want to pause and give other members an opportunity to speak if they have something to bring up as well. Not seeing any. The other thing I wanted to bring up, oh goodness, it's just escaped me, was around, well, a couple of updates. One is the immigrant rights workshop that we spoke about. So that's still very much in the planning stages. So there's a conversation that will happen with some of the local elected offices to discuss how we're going to plan it. Ideally, it will happen this month. So once I have more information in terms of a time and date, we'll let you know. Certainly we'll need help getting the word out, obviously being there in person and so on and so forth. So just wanted to let you know that planning is still very much underway and still happening. The other thing I wanted to share with you all is around, let me see if I can find it. I think Jay and Marshall probably remember this a bit more, but there was a development that was on Hillside Avenue. It was with, it looks like you're shaking your head. So the building is now ready, and the address is escaping me, but apparently they're actually going to have a ribbon cutting for it. Let me see if I can find the date. It's later this month. Oh goodness.
I have it here.
You have it? Okay,
It's gonna be January 23rd
perfect.
at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
37 Hillside Avenue, New York, New York. I don't know if Radia was here for it, but at some point there were some tenants from like the building across that had complained about how long the construction was taking. And because some of them work from home, they were complaining about the noise consistently. Um, I think they wanted us to do something about the noise, but I think I argued for the fact that like, wouldn't you want the project to finish faster so you're not dealing with that issue? Because there were like delays in the project, which made it cost more. And if we had intervened and made them more prohibitive, like measures that they were already doing, it would have taken them a longer timeline to finish their project. So it's good that it's done. I believe it's for seniors, or most of it is, one or the other. Um, for those of you who don't know where Hillside is, I think this is the one. Yeah. So it's between, you know where the post office is on, what's it called? It's right on Broadway. And what street is that? Like 193rd and Broadway. So the Hillside is that there's there's a street that like turns right, and then there's Bennett Avenue right on the other side. So on the street on the hillside, that's what the hillside street is, and it curves all the way around, like two other streets, Nagle Avenue and Bogartis Place. So that's where the project is. I believe, did they send us the eligibility as well?
Not in the email. I'm trying to recall. I think you are right that it was a senior housing. But we can double check and let the committee members know. But I think, we're always talking about, when these new developments are coming up, and I think just nice if people are available to show up and kind of, see you kind of, just check it out. I think it's really neat. So yeah.
And Marshall, you had a question on it?
Yeah, just to refresh my recollection, this was the project involving Church on the Hill. And there's it's supposed to be a senior residence that they're building, and it's supposed to be space for the church and more housing for seniors. This is the project that we're talking about now. Is that correct?
I don't know about the church parts, but the nonprofit that had built it is called Riseboro.
Isboro. I'm trying to
Um,
find it because I think there were two developments we were speaking about around the same time. But let me, give me a second, Marshall. Good question.
okay. I think I have the site here from Riseboro. Just waiting for it to load. It's senior apartments, 164 units. Oh, this doesn't give me any more details than that. Yes, it will have a church. It's 100% affordable senior housing with a new 7,400 square feet turnkey worshiping space for Rocky Mount Baptist Church.
Oh, okay, yeah, Rocky Mountain Baptist Church then. Okay. All
So-
right,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just trying to get dovetailed back into
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about here because we've been all over the neighborhood as far as different projects, and I just want to make sure we're talking about the same, the same block and lot.
No, I hear you. I hear you. No, but that's exact. Thank you. Thank you for looking into that. Because most of the issue was around the oops, sorry. Most of the issue was most of the issue was around the hours and the variance, as kind of Jay mentioned. And I recall kind of some of the tenant associations were quite upset with you know, kind of the late working hours and things. So
And I don't think they've put this on Housing Connect yet.
so I'll make sure that Mary also has it as well. So that she can, so that Mary also has that as well, so that the aging committee can circulate the link to that as well. If there's nothing else on that, there's probably like two other things I wanted to bring up, if that's all right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first one is the Rent Guidelines Board. I've just put the link to the meeting, so this is kind of the city body that is made up of, you know, kind of pro tenant, but also pro real estate kind of individuals, you know, that are appointed by the mayor. And every year they vote on what the rent increase will be for rent stabilized apartments. Obviously, this is incredibly important, particularly for us, as one of the things, you know, we always say is that in Washington Heights and Inwood, we do have a very high number of rent stabilized apartments. And so early engagement is really important, not after they've already kind of released the preliminary, you know, rates and things of that nature. Last year, you may recall, we had a presentation from Adang, who is with Legal Aid Society and is one of the representatives and sits on the Rent Guidelines Board. And I just put the link in the chat, but they usually start meeting at some point in March. So that means we need to start kind of engaging pretty soon, honestly. And you may recall that one of the conversations was, you know, one of the key, I guess, pieces of research that they use to really kind of put this out is based off of the what's called the income and expense study. And now is kind of the time that they're doing the research. And so now is the time to start engaging with the body to have these preliminary conversations, because that will then ultimately kind of set the framework for how the RGB may decide to kind of put, you know, figures forward for the rent increase for next year. So just one to kind of keep an eye on, continue to look at that. I did reach out to Adang. I'll reach out again and see if Adang can join us at the February meeting for a conversation. But I think if any of you are interested, particularly on this issue, let's certainly touch base to see what that engagement looks like. And then if I can, Jay, last thing. Well, two other things. HRA, we're meant to have them visit in February. So we'll be looking forward so they deal with and kind of really help manage a lot of the social services, which again, one of the things we always talk about is you know, from the committee also focus on the human services side of things. So that'll be good to hear from them. And then I guess just lastly, you know, we really encourage you, if there are particular issue items or things that you all are interested in, let us know. So that, you know, there's plenty of work to go around, that's for sure. For you to get involved and lead a piece of work that you're interested in. So just wanted to flag that. And I think that's all from me.
Okay, does anyone have questions, comments, or anything they want to bring up for new business? was trying to see if I have an email chain going with IBO, the Independent Budget Office. Because I wanted them to come present to us after the release of the mayor's proposal. And I think I'm hoping to see if they can come February, if not March. And I already suggested that they also actually present to the board, the general board. I have to talk to Kathy about it, but because there's a bunch of different versions, right? It's due July 1st. So, but right before July 1st, basically the whole month of June, they're negotiating on the final product. And I think around April or May, the city council pushes out their proposal contouring the mayor's proposal. So there's different various steps where the proposals change and what, our city council members are fighting for versus what the mayor is trying to do. So I thought it would be good for us to at least have a primer on the city budget proposal that the mayor's putting out, and then as the general board meeting, everyone can see what the comparison of what the mayor had put out and what the city council is pushing for. So I just want to bring that up. And they do a lot of presentations, and if anyone's interested, I can share with the group what they had said they do. They basically can do a 101 on the city budget as well. If anybody wants that, we can set that up too. Sorry that there's no more new business. I'll give it 5 seconds before I say we can adjourn. I think it's probably the shortest one we'll have of the year. All right, well, right now it's 7:32 p.m. Marshall, go ahead.
Yeah, before we adjourn though, I was wondering, is there anybody that can summarize what City of Yes has been decided, or has that passed in the city council now?
Yeah, that already passed. I believe the mayor finally signed it. I can dig around. There's some explainers of what was in it. I think the big portion that the city council pushed for, and I think it was mentioned at the last meeting we had by city council woman Carmen de la Rosa's staff, was the investments that they had pushed for, because the mayor was changing all the zoning laws, but there was no money behind it, right? To like create more affordable housing, have more subsidy. And so they had pushed for more home ownership. There's a commitment from the governor to put in, I think, $1 billion or two. We'll see if that comes down from the state. Who knows? There were other investments like into HPD enforcement, because part of the reason we always lack enforcement is because we never have the manpower for it. So they put in money to inject more staff to do enforcement throughout the city. So those are some big ticket items I can remember at the moment. But I know someone just put an article in, Mario put an article in the chat but there's definitely some explainers that have come out since that might be good as well. Some of the articles do good about telling you what's in it. I think the biggest part is that we actually, because we tried to do this at the state level, something like this, but the pushback is always from the suburbs. The people don't want to build high. So, if you're a homeowner, you don't want a building next to you. There's little pockets in New York City, and then Brooklyn and Queens have the most homes. They were the biggest opposition to it. So it was like a political effort per se that a lot of members had to vote yes or no on. So now we'll just have more bigger buildings, more units all over the city. That's the biggest impact.
Thanks, Shay. And if I can add, the last link that I just put in the chat from City and State has a really good explanation of kind of the big key items. So for instance, like the parking mandates. And then what I like about this particular article, this is kind of like my go-to when I kind of think about City of Yes, because it's so large, it's, is that it then talks about what was in the initial plan. So what kind of the mayor and City Hall was pushing for, but then what ultimately got approved. So you can see the differences. And so as Jay mentioned, for example, with the funding, the mayor, committed 5 billion to City of Yes, 1 billion of which is coming from the state. Some of that is for housing capital, for infrastructure projects, expense funding for tenant protections, like you mentioned, voucher assistance. I think what was also really good, that's particular for us, there's a couple of other things as well, but the universal affordability preference. So this is, when we're talking about the AMI thing. So even though AMI is set at the federal level, I think it was honestly a big win in this is that City Hall was pushing for the affordable units to be 60% AMI, but actually City Council approved for affordable units to only be 40% AMI, which is a huge difference. And that's kind of where we see, you know, these really fancy, nice new developments, and it's like 130% AMI. It's like that's impossible. Definitely not affordable. Yet they have this quote unquote affordable tag onto it. So I think that in particular is a big win. It's not perfect, no, but I think it's a step in the right direction. But there's still a lot more work that can be done on housing for sure.
Okay, well,
Did you-
I thought it was important that it be raised and appreciate the summaries provided.
Welcome, Marshall.
Yeah, and actually on that, the other thing I was just thinking about was the what is it? The request for proposals for the site that we were working on last year. We were supporting that whole process. And so something I want to do is I'm going to reach out to them, to HPD, and just see kind of where that process is at right now. So they had the request for proposals, it was opened in November, or excuse me, it was opened in October. And I'm not sure kind of where they are in the process now. I would imagine probably reviewing. Oh, okay, never mind. It looks like the submission deadline is actually January 8th, 2025 from developers. And then there's a submission review, developer designation, public approvals, construction and housing lottery. So I think helpful to have an update from them later on this year, just to see where they are in terms of the types of developers that have put in a RFP, or have put in a proposal, excuse me, for consideration.
Very well. If no one has anything else, uh, the time is 7:39. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
In a second.
Second that.
I'll third that.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Marshall. It's great start to the new year, short meeting. Appreciate you all for joining. And I will work on these meeting notes. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Have a good evening.
Everyone.
Thanks,
Good
Shay, for
evening.
holding it down.